Can you feel the love tonight? Tonight. Hi, I'm Caleb Jones. This is Unchained CEO. Location independent income through a location independent laptop based business that sets you free from your stupid bullshit corporate 9 to 5 job and or your dumb gigs. Setting up an international backup plan, or perhaps moving to a less bad country and doing all these things for very little money. Today, we're going to discuss a very important topic to your income and your future, and that is how to manage multiple projects, multiple income streams, and it's not in the title, but this is included, multiple businesses. Because I've been running several businesses now for 20 years, something like that. Billy will be joining us soon, I think, in a little while. Hi, is this event happening on LinkedIn? I've kind of lost track of all that. It should be. Zoom, no. What event are you talking about? I don't understand what you mean. You mean this live stream? I don't know if it's streaming on LinkedIn. I think it is. Or maybe I stopped. I don't remember. I'm going to start that up again if not, but I'm not sure what you mean by that. Hang on, let me take a quick drink. My voice was perfect until I started talking. How does that work? Really quick about the useless election you Americans are doing tomorrow. I see you Americans. I don't consider myself an American. I haven't for several years now. I am an American legally in name only. I'm a citizen of the earth. No country owns me because I do 5 flags, baby. So I didn't have to get a vaccine. All you Trump idiots who hated the vaccine but had to get it anyway. What does that tell you about your life? I didn't have to get it because no one owns me. But anyway, I watched or listened to parts of a long podcast between Ben Shapiro and Sam Harris, who are two of the slightly more rational people in American political discourse. There are no rational people on either side, but the least unrational or least irrational, and they're pretty smart. And they talked for 2 hours, 3 hours, the entire discussion, it was about Trump, yes, Trump, no. Ben Shapiro is for Trump and Sam Harris against Trump. Okay. And here's the entire conversation. The entire conversation was, well, you can't vote for Trump because he did this. And they give a fact of something horrible he actually did. And the other person says, so Sam Harris would say, you can't vote for Trump. He did this. He lists some terrible thing he did, which he really did do. A lot of facts in this debate. And Ben Shapiro said, yeah, he did. But Joe Biden did this, or Kamala Harris did this, and it's another horrible thing. So then Sam Harris says, yeah, he or she did that horrible thing, but Trump did this horrible thing. And then Ben Shapiro says, yeah, Trump did that horrible thing, but Kamala Harris did this horrible thing. And that's the entire conversation for 3 hours. There was a little thing where Ben Shapiro was on Bill Maher, and it was almost the same thing. He did this horrible thing. Yeah, but then she did this horrible thing. But that debate was interesting because it was 3 hours of Trump did this, but Kamala / Joe Biden did that. Which tells you they're both horrible, and neither one of them should be running your country, but you Americans don't care. And the reason you don't care is the left and right in the United States. I'm not talking about Canada, the UK. In the United States, as of 2024, the left and right are gone. For about 10 years now, people have said correctly, saying something is left or right is not a very good way of describing people because the left has a lot of right-wing views that used to be historically right-wing, and the right now has a lot of views that historically were left-wing, so it's not a very good indicator. I'm saying now, as of 2024, there is no left or right in America anymore. Instead, it's been replaced by anti-Trump, pro-Trump. All of American politics, the entire culture of over 350 million people, for some strange reason, now revolves around one guy. One person, who, by the way, will be dead in a few years anyway. Trump's not going to make it to 85. He's 78 years old and overweight and unhealthy and stressed out and addicted to drugs. He's not going to last much longer, folks. But for some reason, the entire culture of the United States, the entire political culture, is based down around, do you like Trump? Do you hate Trump? Not left-right. Left-right is gone. It's out the fucking window. It's gone. So from now on, I'm going to do my best when I talk about Americans to not say left or right. I'm going to say anti-Trump or pro-Trump, because left, right are now gone. Those distinctions are gone. I'm sorry, they're gone. Both the left and the right, they don't exist anymore in the United States. Well, Caleb, that's not true. There are still some right-wing issues like abortion. Nope. Wrong. Trump is pro-abortion. He said it many times. He has said multiple times he will veto a national abortion ban. He likes abortion. He's used it several times, allegedly. I'm sure he has. He likes abortion. So wrong, I'm sorry, that's not right. Now, if you're a tradcon right-wing conservative who hates abortion, think it should be legal, are you now not going to vote for Trump? No, you're still going to vote for him because you like Trump. And on the left, it's the inverse. They have to lie. The left has to lie to themselves saying, well, he's going to make abortion illegal, which is not true. They have to lie to themselves to put them back in their left-wing boxes. And you right-wingers have to lie to yourselves about, well, he's against abortion, and so am I. I'm a Christian, so I'm going to vote for Trump. You're both lying to yourselves. You have to lie to yourselves to put yourselves back in these left-right boxes. Well, what about immigration? I mean, I'm for strong immigration. I ran the numbers. I showed you that in 2020, an entire video on this. There were more foreign-born Americans in the United States at the end of Trump's presidency, first 4 years, than at the beginning of the presidency. It's the largest growth since the 1800s. You don't believe me? Go look it up. Well, Biden's worse. Of course, Biden is worse, but Trump was terrible. And why was Biden worse? Well, Biden had 9 million Mexicans cross the border. How is that possible? Trump built the wall. Oh, wait, he didn't. There you go. It's not left and right anymore. Left and right is gone from America. It's anti-Trump, pro-Trump, until Trump dies, which he will in the next few years. He could even die if he wins the presidency. He could still die. Matter of fact, the odds of him dying sooner go up if he's president, because that's a pretty stressful job. This is how psychotic Americans have become, how psychotic many of you become. You're going to vote for Trump or Kamala, not based on your political opinions, but based on whether or not you like or dislike Trump. It's all about, do you like Trump or not? That's it. No one's voting for Kamala Harris. Nobody. They're voting because they don't like Trump. A hell of a lot of Trump supporters, we know this from exit polling last time, a hell of a lot of Trump, not Trump supporters, Trump voters hate Trump. 19%, I think that was the number, in 2016, 19% of Trump voters said he's not qualified to be president. So they're not voting because they like Trump either. They're voting for other reasons. Actually, excuse me. They're voting because they like him, not because they think he'll be a good president, and not because they think he agrees with their positions. Americans have always been somewhat irrational about this. And this is, by the way, I'm jumping all over the place. Point is, this is how psychotic America has become. I had a long conversation with my dad a few days ago. I'm going to go see my family for Thanksgiving in about 3 weeks. I'm going to fly fucking 14 hours to fucking Olympia, Washington, in the Seattle area, and spend, a few days in the United States, and then fly right back and be jet lagged as fuck for 3 days, and then fly back here and be jet lagged as fuck for 3. So I told my dad, and the reason I'm doing this is because I promised my dad I would do this several years ago, and I haven't done it yet. So I said, Dad, I do what I promise. I'm going to do this, but I let him know I'm never doing this again. I don't want to go back to the United States. The next time I see anyone in my family who lives in the United States, it's when I'm there for some other reason, and you're going to have to come see me. Other than that, you're going to have to come see me in Dubai, or come down to see me in Mexico next time I'm in Guadalajara, or God forbid, fly to Paraguay, which is kind of a mess. Flying to Paraguay is not easy, which is why I like Paraguay. I'm not doing this anymore. And I am rapidly becoming, this year, sorry, I'm still jumping over the place. This year is the first year, real statistic from my life, that I will be out of the United States. I will only be in the United States less than 35 days, which is the first type of foreign earned income exclusion for Americans. The other one is called bona fide residency test, which is what I've been doing up until now. This is the first year I'll be in the United States under 35 days. I've only been there about 24 days so far this year. I'm going back for a week, so I'll still be under my 35 days. Cool. I am rapidly becoming, because of all this chaos you people are putting up with the United States. Why do you still live there? Because of all this chaos in the United States, I am rapidly becoming like Andrew Henderson of Nomad Capitalist, or my son Josh, both of whom don't live in the United States and have never gone back for years. My son hasn't set foot in the United States for years. He doesn't want to. Not even one day. Andrew Henderson hasn't been there for years. Doesn't want to. Andrew Henderson doesn't even use layover flights in the U.S. because of all the goddamn security. He's right. He won't even lay over in the U.S. He avoids it completely. And a lot of international travelers do. They just avoid the U.S. completely because you get a bunch of bullshit. When you land, you have to, skip. Yeah, anyway. I can tell you stories. I won't. In fact, I have told you stories. So I'm rapidly becoming in that category where at some point I won't even want to go back to the United States. I don't want to go back now. I'm willing to go back for certain reasons. Like if a corporate client wants to pay me, $65,000 to come out and talk to them for 4 or 5 days, which I've done. That's fine. I'll do that. If you pay me a lot of money, I'll come. If I'm going to do some kind of big seminar or appearance somewhere, I might do that. But that's about it. Honestly, I have told my whole family this, including my daughter. She's trying to leave the United States too. I can't talk about this on this channel. I have friends in the United States, many of them, and I've told them all, look, I'm not coming back to come see you. If you want to come see me, you're going to have to, fly to Mexico or something. Like, well, why? Because, sorry, your country sucks. It was funny when I tell people, when they say, why aren't you coming back? I said, because the United States sucks. It sucks there. You know what they all say? All of them. Anti-Trump or pro-Trump. You know what they all say? They go, yeah, that's true. It's interesting, that switch that Americans have made in the past 10 years, because the joke I had on my blogs prior to about 2017-ish, 16-ish, was when I said America was collapsing, Americans said, what do you mean it's collapsing? It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, right? Whereas Germans would say back then, if you say Germany's collapsing, the Germans go, yep, yeah, we're fucked. Oh, yeah. So now Americans have finally caught up to the Germans. Yeah, we're fucked. It sucks here. Yeah, even Trump's was like, yeah, he can't fix it. I just like Trump. Because again, it's not about left or right. It's about whether or not you like Trump. So think about that tomorrow. While those of you who are actually taking the time out of your day to vote, what a fucking waste of time. Taking the time out of your day to vote for Trump, and some of you, Kamala, realize you're not doing this for political reasons. You're doing this because you like Trump or you don't like Trump. Right? My wife, Pink Firefly, hates Trump. Her mom loves Trump. So they get on the phone, they start screaming at each other. Trump. It's not about political stuff. And my wife has heard me say things when I do these live streams and things like that. She hears things. And so she told her mom, why do you want to vote for Trump? He didn't build the wall. And then her mom says, yes, he did. There are Trump supporters who actually think Trump built the wall. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that fascinating? How it's and my mother-in-law is not a dumb woman. Very smart corporate woman. Very impressive person. Love her to death. But isn't it fascinating how irrational people can be to defend their choices about whether they like Trump or don't like Trump? Because it's not about left and right. Left and right does not exist in the United States anymore. Doesn't. It doesn't. There are woke psychos. That's true. There are extreme tradcons. There are extremists. But the normal left-right, the left used to be anti-war. Now they love war. They get mad if you try to end a war. Is that left? No. The right used to be for small government a while ago, 20 years ago. Now Trump passes $1.8 trillion spending bills before the pandemic. And they're like, yeah, whatever, cool. So there's no left and right anymore. It's about anti-Trump, pro-Trump. That's it. Set. And this is just another reason why I don't want to go to the United States. I am dreading. Every time I go back to the United States, I dread it. I was there this summer, spending time with my wife and some other people, and I hated it. I didn't hate it. I didn't like it. I couldn't wait to get to Paraguay. I couldn't wait. I'm looking at the days. 4 more days, I can go to Paraguay. Get the fuck out of this bad house. And I'm not looking forward to going back. I'm not. I'm going to go back for a week because I love my family. My parents are old. I don't know how much time I have left with my parents, so I'm doing all the usual. I'm being a good son, and I promised. So, but yeah, man, Billy wants me to do a bunch of events next year in the United States, and I'm real ambivalent about it. I don't know if I want to do it. I don't know. All right. Real quick, a few questions, and then we'll get to our very important topic. What is the optimal amount of businesses to own? 2 to 4. If you follow the Alpha 2.0 business model, 2 to 4. Is it possible to work a maximum of 30 hours a week while owning 3 businesses? Absolutely. I know many people do it. Yes. Not big giant companies, unless you sell them or something. How much should a copywriter charge per month per client if I'm niched? I can't answer that question. Too many variables. There are horrible copywriters. There are great copywriters. It really depends. Funny how a lifelong Democrat became the Republican savior. I've said that many times. Yes. Yeah. Donald Trump has been a Democrat most of his adult life. I, on the other hand, have never, and I'm 52, I have never voted for a Democrat in my entire life. Not once. I never will. I actually have something called integrity. I'm a one-issue voter. I'm not a voter, but I'm a one-issue citizen. Size of government. That's it. No other issue matters, because if you make government smaller, as I've demonstrated on this podcast, my blogs many times, if you make government smaller, 80% of all the things you hate about your society and your government and your culture improve. Not all of them, not 100%, 80%. If you make government bigger, 80% of the things that you don't like, that you hate about your government right now, taxes, inflation, wokeism, you name it, get worse. And it doesn't matter who the person is who makes it bigger. If Biden makes it bigger, that's bad. If Trump makes it bigger, it's bad. If Obama makes it bigger, it's bad. If George Bush makes it bigger, it's bad. Now again, you don't care. You're not left or right anymore. No one gives a shit about that. You just care about, I like Trump or I don't. Can't you fly your parents' business class to Paraguay and Dubai? Of course I can. And they have money too. That's not the issue. They don't want to go. My dad hates traveling. My mom will eventually come. They don't want to. I've already offered it. Like, oh man, 14 hours. They're Americans. When you say to an American 14 hours on a plane, they go, what? They're Americans. They don't want to do it. Big goal of mine is to have my income enough to fly 2026 my parents to Australia from South America, excuse me. They're going to have to be willing to get on a plane and sit there for 14 fucking hours. Do old Americans or old Australians like to do that? No, they're going to make all kinds of, I don't want to do that. Can you just come here? They're old and they're Americans. All right, quick few more questions. We got to go. We got to start. Caleb, taking advantage of the rise of AI. I want to sell copywriting services made with AI, but really done mostly by a human copywriter. What do you think of the idea? I think that idea makes literally no sense, and you're not niched. Pick the niche first, not the problem. You're picking the problem first. I bet $5,000 on Kamala winning because they're going to steal it. The payout is $15,000, $7K. If I win, I will join the 9-day business. Great. Do you think wokeness will finally be removed from video games now that multiple... No, sweetheart. I know that's a fantasy. No. America and the West gets more left-wing every year. Now that multiple $100 million budget games like Star Wars Outlaws and Dragon Age Veilguard will keep flopping. Have you seen Hollywood? 5 to 10 to 20 times per year, we have multiple movies that are 100 million to 200 million that keep flopping over and over and over again because they're woke. Have they stopped? No, they don't care about profit. I've discussed this many times in this podcast. Corporate America is now left, which means profit is not the objective, something else is. And corporate America is owned by 3 different companies, State Street, Vanguard, and BlackRock. And so one company can lose a lot, get a tax write-off, and other companies in the portfolio make a lot, and they don't care. So the answer is a big, big no. People keep asking me. I've had 4 people ask me today from around the world, who do you want to win, Caleb, Trump or Kamala? People, not Americans, because they want to know. I said, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not an American. I don't care. America's not my problem. Stop being my problem a long time ago. They said, well, come on. I'm like, well, I benefit with both. If Kamala wins, a lot of people in the audience are going to go, oh my God, I'm fucked now. And then they'll buy my stuff. So my sales will increase if Kamala wins. If Trump wins, he will cut my taxes. He's not going to cut your taxes, but he is going to cut people at my income level taxes again, or extend the tax cuts and a bunch of other things that they're sunsetting. So that I'll save money there. And I also think that he will probably end the war in Ukraine faster than Kamala will. And I will. I will directly make money. I can't tell you how or why, but I will benefit financially if the war in Ukraine ends. So, all right. Managing multiple income streams, multiple businesses, multiple projects. I'm going to cover businesses first because that's the big scary one. Because I think a lot of people have a grasp on how to manage multiple projects. First, let me cover the difference between an income stream and a business. Okay. So in this business, Unchained CEO, and also my Alpha 2.0 business, I have 13 different income streams. Not 13 different products, 13 different streams. So I do one-on-one coaching, although I'm about to stop. Cover that in a minute. I have the 9-day business builder, so I have coaching programs. I've also done things like the Focus program and the 500K Accelerator and things like that. So I have coaching programs. I sell books. I sell audios. I sell video courses. I sell done with you courses. I do affiliate sales. I do joint ventures. JV is an entirely separate income stream. That has nothing to do with me selling Business Builder. Nothing to do with it. So these are multiple streams of income under the umbrella of my online company. Okay. I don't do a lot of consulting anymore. I do occasionally. But when I was doing hardcore consulting, I didn't just do consulting. Now, that was the bulk of it. But I also did workshops. I did white papers. I did joint ventures with other consultants. I also did professional speaking. So those are 5 income streams under my consulting practice instead of just being consulted. That makes sense? I also briefly was publishing ebooks under my consulting practice. I had to be a consultant long, back in like the 2000s, long time ago. So you could have a business that has multiple streams, and you can have multiple businesses that have multiple income streams. The Alpha 2.0 business model that I teaches that eventually, not now if you're just getting started, but eventually down the road, and it might take you 10 years, that's fine. You want to own 2 to 4 small, location-independent Alpha 2.0 businesses in their own narrow niches that have nothing to do with each other. So I'll give you the perfect example. My example today is a little more complicated and some I'm not supposed to talk about publicly. So I'm going to give you my example from a few years ago that I was doing for about 15 years. I had 3 companies. I had my online business, which back then was Black Dragon / Alpha Male 2.0. That was my online company with 12 different income streams on it. I used to graph all this out, chart all this out. Then I had my consulting practice with my 4 or 5 income streams under that. Okay. Then I had a company called CCM where we did marketing for IT, on-site IT companies. Okay. We did marketing for them. So what do any of those businesses have in common? Nothing. And that's the point. So one business was selling dating and relationship advice to men online. One was doing corporate consulting, productivity consulting, time management consulting, strategic planning consulting, things like that. Okay. What does that do with selling stuff online, selling ebooks online to guys? Nothing. Okay. Then the third one was selling to small IT, on-site IT companies on how to do marketing. Not any IT companies, on-site networking consultants, because that's what I used to be. So these were 3 companies that were in completely different industries, completely different niches, had nothing to do with each other. So if any one horrible problem happened to one of those 3 companies, I would be upset, but I would be okay. It's the business version of 5 flags. What happens if Iran nukes Dubai, which is never going to happen? Or what happens if Dubai raises your taxes? I go to Paraguay. What happens if Paraguay, I don't know, what collapses or has a disease, or I stay in Dubai. I go to Mexico. So I have to rely on any one country to service my lifestyle needs. I have to rely on any one of my companies. Today I have what I jokingly call 2.5 companies. I have my online business, and there's 2 brands under that. So again, I'm a little complicated. Don't do what I'm doing. I have an online business called DCS. Well, I have a lot of different corporations, but I have 2 brands. I have the Alpha Male 2.0 brand, and I have this brand here, Unchained CEO. Fuck. Then I have a business in the healthcare industry. That's all I can talk about. And if you've been to my live events, I've talked about this. And then I do some consulting, a little, not much, because when I'm consulting, I can't scale. I'm trying to scale my other 2 companies. Anyway, so that's the eventual goal. So how do you start multiple companies? Now, the first thing is you do not pretend you're Elon Musk. You cannot start multiple businesses at the same time. You cannot do that. And whenever I say that, I have some more and say, well, Elon Musk is it? Are you Elon Musk? Is that you? Are you Elon Musk? Elon Musk is a superhuman. I didn't say he's an alpha male. I didn't say he's right. I said he is a superhuman. They exist. Superhumans are real. Tom Cruise is another one. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a superhuman. Superhumans exist. They're rare, but they're out there. Are you a superhuman? Probably not. I'm not. I'm not a superhuman. Sorry, not even close. I'm a normal guy who has a slightly higher than average IQ and works really hard. That's it. And is able to look at the world in a rational way. I'm not super extraordinary. I know I'm unusual, but I'm not super extraordinary. So you cannot start multiple companies all at the same time. On a regular basis, I get people asking me, hey, I'm going to start this business, do this. No, one business at a time. Well, Caleb, then how does that work? Here's how it works. If you're very familiar with my content, you know where I'm going with this. It's called the 4 phases. Talk about my blogs and my books and my other courses. Okay. Here's the main takeaway from this. Oh, maybe one of the main takeaways from this podcast. 4 phases in a business. Number 1 is this. Oh, I'm not going to number them because the numbers don't matter. There's the startup phase. Okay. There is the optimization phase. There is the scaling phase. And there's maintenance mode. I'm going to explain all 4 of these. When you get these 4 down, you can apply these to not only multiple businesses, but also multiple income streams in your business. I apply these 4 concepts not only to my companies, but to all the income streams in my businesses. I'm doing this right now with several income streams, literally right now. I've been doing this for a few years now. Startup phase is when you start a brand new business or a new income stream that didn't exist before. It's brand new. You're starting it up now. That's the startup phase. Okay. And the startup phase is fun. It's exciting. It's scary. You're not making a lot of money, but it is fun and exciting because it's new. It's new and different. So it's fun. You will see people they're called entrepreneurs who spend 10 years in the startup phase. They're always starting something up, or they're starting the same business. They never make any money. And like, it's been 6 years, dude. Have you made any money? No. Well, what the fuck? You're like, hey man, I'm an entrepreneur and sometimes you got to take risks. No, fuckhead. The point of starting a business is to make money eventually. So the startup phase doesn't last forever. It lasts a while, but not long. The way it works in a startup phase is that you set a monthly income goal for yourself for your first business or your first income stream, or this new business or new income stream. Let's say you're starting a new business. Your brand new business. You've hopefully joined the 9-Day Biz Builder. Great. Okay. So you're starting a new business, right? You have a 9-to-5 job that's killing you and causing you to stay in horrible, collapsing countries. And so you start your Alpha 2.0 business on the side. Okay. You're in the startup phase. And the beauty of the startup phase is everything in the startup phase is IW work, what I call improvement work. It's very high quality work because it's new. It's going to increase your income later. Okay. What you do is you set a monthly income goal for yourself. I want this new business to make X per month before I start another business and or before I start another income stream in that business. So I want this income stream to make this amount before I go to the next income stream. Okay. Well, Caleb, how much? Totally up to you. For most of you, I would recommend it's a few $1,000s a month. But you can be a maniac and say, I just want $1,500 a month for this business. I'm going to start the second business. You can do that. Don't recommend it, but you can. Several thousand a month. Whatever several thousand is to you, we all have different goals. Now, long-term eventually, or medium-term, I should say, you want to hit the Unchained CEO minimum of $85,000 US per year. That is net income from your business after all expenses, but before taxes. That's before taxes, before taxes, before taxes. Okay. So that's about $7,000 a month. As I've said many times, you don't need one business to make you $7,000 a month. You can have 2. You can have one business that makes $4,000, one that makes $3,000. Great. You got your $7,000. That's awesome. And then later you can scale those if you wanted to well past $7,000. That's fine. But you got to set a monthly income goal, your first immediate goal, before you allow yourself to jump into another income stream or another business. Okay. Let's say that number is, I don't know, $4,000. Right? You're going to start a new business and you want to make $4,000 a month before you start your next business. So you work and you work and you work. If you join the 9-Day Biz Builder, you follow my materials, it's going to be pretty quick for you. $4,000. It doesn't take very long at all. Not long at all. Do it all by yourself. It might take a few years, whatever it takes. Okay, fine. Eventually, you hit the $4,000 figure 3 months in a row. If you hit it just in 1 month, that doesn't mean shit. The next month you can make 1,000. You need to hit 3 months in a row. You haven't hit a real monthly income goal, and I follow the same models when I set my own goals. You haven't hit a monthly income goal till you've had that income 3 months in a row easily. I have a monthly income goal for myself. It's a big, big, big number. And I every time I rewrite that goal, I rewrite it every day. I put in there starting with 3 months in a row. It's not real until it's 3 months in a row. If I do it once, I can't throw a party. Matter of fact, I can't talk about that. So once you hit that goal, $4,000 a month or whatever it is, it could be $1,000 a month, $500 a month. It's up to you. I'm using 4,000 as an example. And it's 3 months. Every 3 months in a row, you made $4,000 a month. Now you have a decision to make. You can either put that into optimization phase, the scaling phase, or maintenance mode. What do those all mean, Caleb? Well, the scaling phase means you're going to keep growing it. You're like 4,000 a month. Great. Let's get this thing to 10,000 a month. You hit 10,000. You're like, fuck it, man. Let's get to 50,000 a month, 42,000 a month, 100,000 a month, whatever, 200,000 a month. I want to scale this shit. Scaling means taking an existing business and scaling it to much bigger numbers. Much bigger numbers depends on the person. When I'm scaling something, it'll be different than if you scale something. We all have different goals, and we all have different levels of amount of hours per week we're willing to work. We all have different objectives, things like that. Okay. So that's what scaling means. So the scaling phase means you take a business that's already making you money you already own, and you say, let's blow the shit out of this and make it bigger. I entered into a major life scaling phase in 2018. Hang on 1 second. I forgot to mute something here. Oh, it's Billy. Okay, hang on 1 second. Okay. That's the scaling phase. The other phase is the optimization phase. That is where you take a business and you streamline it. Because as you grow a business, it's going to start to get messy. It's the law of the universe. When you grow a business, new business or scaling an existing business, doesn't matter, things start to fuck up. Problems start to occur. Systems start to break down. Inefficiencies are created. People on your team start doing inefficient things. You start doing inefficient things. You forget about shit that are really important, and you start causing all kinds of problems. And the challenge with scaling a business is that if you scale a business that is not optimized, you're going to have even more problems. This is a very typical scenario with successful entrepreneurs. They get to a certain income level and they go, okay, I'm going to scale this thing. So they scale it and they start making a lot of money, at least at the top line. And they have all kinds of problems. And they go, oh my, and after 2 or 3 years, they go, oh my God. All right, we need to stop and fix all these fucking problems. So they stop and they pause and they kind of backtrack and they spend a year optimizing and fixing all the goddamn problems. They may even lose money that year. I've been through this myself. Because you're fixing all the fucking problems you should have fixed earlier. And then when you're all optimized, you're like, yay, let's scale again. And then you scale again, and then you have more problems. You got to stop and optimize again. It gets really bad if you scale without optimizing. So optimizing is when you clean up the business. You clean up the operations, you clean up the finances, you clean up your procedures, your SOPs, all the stuff Billy's talking about. That's when you optimize a business. Very, very important. You don't want to scale a business that isn't optimized. That's a very common mistake, and I've done it. Okay, so it's the optimization phase where you take a business and you say, all right, let's make this thing running like a top. Let's not worry about increasing the income right now, because that is not the goal of the optimization phase. Revenue increases is not the goal of the optimization phase. You may or may not. You might lose money to the optimization phase. You might. Often you do. And that might be okay. Or you might make a little more. Who knows? But that's not the goal. The goal is to streamline, to have a perfectly run business, a perfectly well-oiled machine. Then you can make the decision to maintenance mode or scale. Okay, now, let's say you want to start a second business. How do you do that? You take your current business that's making X amount a month, okay, and you put it in a phase called maintenance mode. What does maintenance mode means? Maintenance mode means you do the bare minimum required to maintain that business's current income. And that's it. You don't do anything else. So in a normal business, especially if it's a new business, so during the startup phase or the scaling phase, you're going to be doing a lot of extra work. You have to. Okay? A lot. In maintenance mode, once it's making X amount per month, and you're like, I want to start my second business now, you can't work 50 hours a week on your first business, another 50 hours a week on your second business, right? You can't even work 30 hours, 40 hours a week on your first business and spend another 30, 40 hours a week on your second business, unless you have literally nothing to do. I guess you could do that. Hang on, Billy is having trouble getting in. Hang on, wait a minute. much I can do. Okay. So in your maintenance mode, you have to identify the tasks that are the bare minimum tasks you need to keep the business going at its current level. Not enough to lose money. You don't want to do that unless you choose to. I don't know why you would do that, though. If you want to lose money, then shut the company down. The bare minimum. So you identify those tasks where you, as the CEO, the president of the business, what are the bare minimum tasks I have to do that I cannot delegate to keep the company alive, and everything else you're going to delegate. I don't check my own email. That's stupid for someone at my income level. If you're just starting out, you have to check your own email. But I don't edit my own. We've been through this. Bill and I have been through this. I don't edit my own videos. I delegate all that stuff. So in terms of the few items I can't, like this live stream, can I have someone else do this live stream? I mean, technically I could, but probably not, right? I have to do this myself. So not either. So I have to do, if I want to keep this business alive, I have to do some level of social media content to some degree. Now I could cancel my live streams. I could do that. I've been tempted a few times, or I could maybe do two a month. I could back off on them. So you do all kinds of interesting things. You get my point. Maintenance mode it's just in maintenance. So you do is you kind of take this business, you spin that plate, it's spinning by itself. You barely need to touch it. So maybe it's 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, 15 hours a week, and that's it. You spin that business. Then you start the next business. The next business. So business A is in maintenance mode. Business B is now in the startup phase. Okay. So you spend maybe 10, 15 hours a week maintaining business A, and all the rest of your time is in business B. And again, this applies to income streams. So if you have nothing but online video courses and you want to start writing ebooks, that's a new income stream, isn't it? So you have to get on your online, you have to sell your video courses. Okay. Get those done. You have to maintain those and keep those selling. And then you go over to start writing your ebooks, which takes a lot more time than courses. Or maybe you want to do consulting, or maybe you want to do some kind of service or something else. Does that all make sense? So you have to make sure that you understand what the minimum is required for that current business or that current income stream. And so this is exactly what I've done, both in my businesses and in my income streams. I put everything on. I create income stream number one, startup phase. I might optimize it. Usually I like to optimize it before I scale. Usually, not always. Okay. Then I put it on maintenance mode. Then I go to the next income stream. Start up that, optimize that, put that on maintenance mode. So now I have two income streams on maintenance mode, then the third, then the fourth, then the fifth, then the sixth, or however many you want. There's no set number. It's up to you. Billy, are you good? I see your eyes, but that's all I see. Can you hear me or see me? She's in her car. She's trying to get on. What do I want to say about that? The 4 phases. That's it about the 4 phases. If you just apply that, especially if you already own a business, it's going to change your life. Now, again, I want to get you out of the mindset of I can start multiple companies all at the same time. Don't fucking do that. The only time that makes any sense, and I've said this before about other things, if you tell me, hey, Caleb, I have no job, I'm single, I'm not dating anybody, I have no kids, I have no family, I live alone, I have nothing to do all week. Can I start 2 businesses at the same time? I guess. You have literally nothing going on in your life. Does that describe you? Probably not. You probably have other things going on in your life besides your business life, right? Right. Okay. Even if it's just 5 flags and traveling and stuff. But there might be a few of you young guys or young gals who are doing this. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, so that's income streams and businesses. Let me switch gears now and talk about projects. This is a very big time management topic. I don't have time to go into all this. I'm going to kind of summarize this here for you. You have to-do items, you have projects. What is a project? A project is just a cluster, a grouping of to-do items. That's it. It's a grouping of to-do items for a specific result. I have to set up a new website. That's a project because that's a number of to-do items. You can't just press a button and set up a website. You got to get the domain name, right? You have to write the wording, the words, the copy that go on the site, or pay someone to do it. You have to get photographs of yourself and put those on. You got to get a logo done. You use AI to do it. You have to actually go in and set up the website using whatever system you want to use, WordPress, whatever you're using. You have to find a hosting solution. Blah, 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 blah. You have to test it. You have to set up a sequence for how you maintain it. If it's a blog, you have to know how to, post your own blog posts, unless you can outsource that. So that would be a project. I was just today going through a bunch of things. I mean, I can even bring them up. I can't read them to you. If you're going to do the immersion service with me, you'll see all my projects, or a lot of them. So I went through a bunch of stuff that's going on. I have a lot of stuff going on this week. I mean, this is a very busy week for me. So I had to make a big list of everything that was a to-do item and everything that was a project. Because sometimes it sounds like, let me pull up, I'm going to pull up an example of this so I can give you a real life example of how I make these differentiations. And again, you guys will see this. You guys do the immersion service. You'll see me, literally, you'll see this, what I'm looking at. So here's a few things I came up with, and in terms of what was critical, what wasn't for this week when I plan the week. There's a problem going on with one of our payment systems. That's a to-do item that I need to do. I need to plan out the Unchained Man promotion. We're re-releasing my main book, The Unchained Man, tomorrow. More about that in a minute. That is a project. Most of that project is done, thank God, but that was a project. Get a book published. That's a big project. We're starting a new LinkedIn funnel. That's a project. Now, that is delegated to someone else on my team, 2 people actually, but there's a few things I have to do, and those are to-do items for me. Okay. Then I have, we have some events in Dubai going on the next 2 weeks right now, starting on Friday. I'm involved in some of that stuff. So that is a to-do item for me, a few to-do items. The immersion service coming up. Those of you signing up for that starts this Friday. So we have a few things left to set up on that, the software and things like that. We've already figured out what software we're using. So that's a project. I'm not doing most of those things, but I have to oversee it and make sure it happens. There's some, I can't say this publicly, there's some 5 flags stuff, banking stuff I got to do. So that's kind of a project. Let's see what else here. I have to catch up on writing my blogs. That's an item. Write a blog post. I can do that. I can crank that out in an hour. It's a to-do item, but it's a long to-do item, but it's only a single item. Write blog post. That's it. That's a single to-do item for me. Even it might take me an hour, but I can still do it. It's still a single item. To-do item does not specify how long it takes. So you got to-do items that take 2 minutes. You get 2 items that take 15 minutes. You have 2 items that take an hour and a half sometimes. Okay. That's not a project. That's a to-do item. Okay. So anyway, that's an example of that stuff. So what you have to do is you have to sit down, map out everything you want to accomplish. What are projects? What takes more than one thing to do? And what are to-do items? And you separate those. And when you plan your week, if you're doing the immersion service, you will see me plan my week on Sunday. Plan a whole fucking week. Couldn't do it this Sunday because it was busy. So I have to plan my week tonight or tomorrow morning. I'm behind schedule. Sometimes that happens. That's okay. So when you plan out your week or do E3D, you're planning the next 3 days. Matter of fact, if you're doing E3D from my books, there's already a project system in there, isn't there? You take your projects, you look at the projects you want to hit this week or the next 3 days, the next 2 days, whatever you're doing, and you take the top to-do item and move it over to your to-do list. When you have a project, it is a grouping of to-do items, and the to-do items need to be sorted by sequence and priority. Priority is what's most important. Sequence is this has to be done before this. You have to get if you're setting up a website, you got to get a domain name before you set up the website, at least before the website goes live. You can set up the website without having a domain name. You can't do that. But before the website goes live, right? So there's a sequence in these things. So what has to happen first, second, third, fourth, fifth? You take all the to-do items in the project. So you sit down and, I don't know, Caleb. I don't know what to-do items are required. Guess. You have this project. What's everything you have to do to accomplish this project? You make a list of to-do items and it be as complete as you can. Even if you're going to delegate some items, which you should if you're making money. If you're brand new and you're not making money yet, you can't delegate unless you have some money already. Those you have higher paying jobs, you can delegate right off the bat. That's great. If you can't, you got to do it yourself. So you make a list of items, then you sort them by sequence and priority. Then you tag the items you can delegate to someone else if you have the financial resources to pay someone else to do them for you. If you can't, you got to do them all. Sort them, and you take the top one. That's the one you work on tomorrow. That's it. In addition to your other two to-do items for the day. That's you manage. Now, what if you have multiple projects? It feels like I have a million of them. And I kind of do. So that means, and thankfully, your lifestyle is probably not as complex as mine. Your income goals are probably not as high as mine. I want to make a lot of money, and I do make a lot of money. I want to make even more. And so I have a lot of shit going on, a lot of projects. Like Cody Sanchez, if you want to make the big money, you got to sit down and do the work that sucks. That's me. Especially today, last few days, I'm doing a lot of work that sucks, but I want the money, so it's worth it for me. My goals, side point, my goals are not optional for me. My income goals, net worth goals, financial goals, they are not optional for me. I know what's coming. I want to make sure I'm 100% covered for what is coming because I know what's coming. A lot of you don't know or don't care. Some of you are aware. I know it's coming. There's a certain amount of money I need to make sure that I'm good and my loved ones are good. So my goals aren't optional for me. I take this stuff very seriously. That's why I live in Dubai, not the United States, for example. Where was I going with this? Went off on a little tangent there, didn't I? Oh, when you have multiple projects. Okay, so if you have multiple projects, all you have is, and you can use any system you want for this. Let me pause and talk about that really quick, and I'll get back to multiple projects. Caleb, remember, go back to multiple projects, you dumb fuck. You can use any software system you want for this stuff. Caleb, what is the best time management system I use? Should I use Trello? Should I use Basecamp? Should I use da-da-da-da? Should I use da-da-da? Should I use a Franklin Planner? Whatever you want. It does the modality of the software or systems you use to manage your time doesn't matter. There are people who still use paper. Tim Ferriss uses paper. He writes it down on a piece of paper and carries around them. Whatever works for you. I like spreadsheets. I like to keep things very simple. I don't want to have to learn an app and then be limited by what the app does. To me, spreadsheets is the greatest invention, the greatest software invention of the computer age, in my opinion. I still remember, my God, when I was like, let's see, how old was I? 14, 15 years old, back in like 1986. The first spreadsheet software I had on my Commodore 64, and I was playing around, and I said, this is genius. I can press a button and this changes over here, and I can make lists, and it can be texts or they can be not. Oh my God, I'm blown away. Microsoft Excel is the most useful piece of software ever invented. That's my opinion. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding about this. So anyway, I like spreadsheets. If you don't like spreadsheets, use paper. If you prefer things like Trello or time management apps, use whatever the fuck you want. But use something. Don't just have this in your head. That's stupid. Okay? Now, multiple projects. What you have in whatever system you're using, I use spreadsheets. You have project in bold and to-do items. And then another project in bold and then to-do items. Another project and then to-do items. That's it. And you choose which projects you're going to target in the next few days of the next week. Can you work on 7 projects in a week? No, you're not going to get anywhere. You have to focus. Unless you're dealing with a weird emergency. There's like 2 weird emergencies going on in one of my companies right now. Actually, one and another one. They're temporary, it's fine. But that may add to your project list for that week, and that's fine. Okay? That's how you do it. So you just drag over the first to-do item of the projects you want to work on. No more than 2, maybe 3. Because you have other shit to do, don't you? You have other shit. You have to maintain your business, build your business, right? Some of you have 9-to-5 jobs. I'm sorry. Some of you have families. Some of you have to go work out so you don't get fat like me, because I work out every day. So I have to make sure I don't get really fat like other people in my family. So you have other shit going on. Some of you have very colorful personal lives like I do. That takes a little time. So you have things going on. You can't work on 7 projects or 12 projects in a week. It's not going to work. Make sense? But that's it. Really simple. Keep this stuff simple. Don't have this elaborate system. You guys are nerds and lissigs, and I love you because I'm a nerd myself, or at least an ex-nerd, still kind of a little bit of a nerd. And when you have a higher IQ, especially if you, God forbid, went to college, you have an overwhelming need to make shit way more complicated than it needs to be. A simple fucking piece of paper with a list of stuff is all you need, or a simple spreadsheet's all you need. Or Trello, which is pretty simple. Whatever works for you, but keep it simple. Don't spend weeks setting up your time management system. I've seen people do this. Don't do that. You won't get anywhere. Now, you can also apply startup, maintenance mode, optimization phase, scaling phase to certain projects that are long-term projects. There's also applications here that are outside of your business life. So my physical life, my physical health, fitness stuff, that's a long-term project for me. It's non-business, but I'm applying these same principles to that. I would like to get my black belt. And the reason is, I think I've told this story before, way when I was a kid, young man, I was in Tang Soo Do. Tang Soo Do, which is a Korean martial art. I got my red belt, and in Tang Soo Do, your red belt is right below black. I went all the way to red belt, worked very hard for that fucking thing. And then my sensei, my karate teacher, skipped town one day. He was accused of sexual assault or something that he wasn't guilty of. This is a long time. This is back, 90s, 80s, I forget, when I was a young man. And I'm like, well, I just didn't take the trouble to find another dojo and start all over and continue and blah, blah. So I just stopped doing martial arts back then for the most part. And so my whole life I felt kind of like robbed. It's no one's fault but my own, of my black belt. I should have had a black belt back then. And the last 20 years, I should have been able to say I'm a black belt, but I can't. So I have this thing in my head. I want a black belt. So in my 50s, can you get a black belt in your 50s? Yes. It's harder, but you can. Now, before I start doing hardcore martial arts, I need to lose some weight and optimize my body fat. So again, I have projects organized by sequence and priority. Make sense? I can't talk about this on this channel, but when I talk about woman stuff on the other channel, you can apply the same thing to that, which I did. I treated my dating life like a business. I've talked about that many times over my other channel. So you can apply this to all areas of your life. It works. It's very effective in getting a lot of things done. I have gotten more things done in my life in the past 10 years than, Jesus Christ, the average 35 people will ever get done in their entire lives. Easy in my entire life, not just my business life, personal life, 5 flags, all that shit. I've got a lot accomplished. A lot. And I'm still not done. At least not yet. Getting there. Let me check the technology here. Billy's not able to join us, so she'll be back soon. She's traveling right now, and she couldn't get a good internet connection, so that sucks. Oh well, happens. What else do I want to say about this before I answer your questions? I have a feeling I'm forgetting something. I didn't do slides today. What am I forgetting? I don't think I'm forgetting something, but I have this nagging feeling. Maybe it'll come in when I answer questions. All right. One quick thing. And then I will get to your questions. As of this moment, if you're listening to this live or you're listening or watching recording today, so what is today? November 5th, day before American Silly Election Day. This is the last day you can sign up for my immersion event. I'm going to buzz through this really quickly. You can download the videos if you can't make the live event. It's where I stream my entire life for 12 hours a day for 4 days straight, starting this Friday. It'll be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Okay. And during that time, I will explain everything I'm doing. So I'll do something, I pause and I explain what I'm doing. It's truly immersion, so you can just shadow me and see exactly how I run my companies, my financial life, my personal life. Yes, you'll see people, everything. You'll see everything. And I explain all as I go. If you can't make the live stream, you can download all the live streams, 48 hours of video next week when the live stream is all over. You get it all. It's all for you. You can just review it at your leisure. If you're on the live stream, it's like a coaching thing. It's like almost like one-on-one coaching, not quite one-on-one because there's a few other people in the live stream. You can ask me any questions you want. You have me for 48 hours. You have me for 4 days. You know how expensive I would be if you paid for 4 days of my coaching? You have any idea? A lot. Nowhere near this. This is the cheapest coaching you'll ever get from me, and that's literal. That's literal. I'll tell you in a minute. If you sign up, I'm also going to give you at the end of the event, so next week, you're going to get all the templates that I use. So I plan your day template, plan your week template, my stretching routine I do, especially if you sit at a desk all day, my investments template, my cash management, everything. I just give you everything I use. I take all my same spreadsheets, I zero them out and delete my stuff, and I just give you the template. It's yours. So you can just literally clone what I'm doing. And I'm reasonably successful in terms of finances. I'm also going to throw in a 2-hour coaching session with Billy. Billy makes a lot of money. Billy knows this stuff. 2-hour coaching with her. You also can take $1,000 when you sign up for this, and you could apply it to the 90-day business builder or anything else I'm offering. Matter of fact, there's something else I'm offering. I'll give you more than $1,000 for. Just change this. So it's almost like $1,000 off. Okay. This was going to be $8,000 because I was going to have people come to Dubai to do it. And I also charge $2,000 when I do masterminds for 7 hours with a group of people. If you buy my one-on-one coaching, my minimum price is $5,000 to get you 5 sessions with me. $1,000 a session. Okay. This is less than $3,000 for 48 hours of coaching. So it's equivalent to $48,000 if you bought it per hour. And you have direct access to me. Now, I've just added an option. A few of you said, I really want to do this. I can't afford the amount. What I just thrown in, because I like you guys, I'm trying to be nice because I'm never going to do this again. I'll tell that next slide. I'm never going to do this again. I made that decision this weekend. So for $9.97, which is a lot cheaper, not a lot cheaper, a little cheaper, you can get 1 day with me, just Friday, and the Friday video, and that's it. You don't get the 2-hour coaching with Billy. You don't get the $1,000 off. You don't get any of that stuff. Because there's a bunch of you want to join us, but you can't quite afford the whole thing. Deadline is tonight at midnight, EST. So what? How many hours from now? About 9 hours from now? www.caleb.top/shadow. This is why we'll never do this again. Before, on the last slide, last time I talked about this, I said, I don't think I'm going to do this again. I'm never doing this again. I've made the decision this week when we plan everything out. I'm like, this is cool. It'll be fun. A one-time thing. I am never doing this again. A bunch of you asked me, Kiel, will you do this when you're in Paraguay? No, I will never do this again. Sorry. Never. I'm not saying I'll never do a private live stream again. I might do one for 2 hours, but not for all day for 4 fucking days. No. It's going to murder my productivity. I can't do that. And I have to have weird conversations with people about, hey, there's going to be a bunch of people watching us, including people in my personal life. Hint, hint. They're like, what? So it's just a pain in the ass. Plus, I got to carry multiple phones around me and tripods and a bunch of other bullshit. I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to do this one time. I'm not doing this again. I am never doing this again. This is a one-time opportunity with me. You've got about 10 hours to sign up for this. www.caleb.top/shadow. And this is wrong. It says, I probably won't do this again. I won't do this again. That's old. You can sign up for 1 day instead of the full deal, a cheaper version, $9.97 for 1 day, and you get the video for 1 day. Now, I don't do everything in 1 day. I'm not going to plan my week. I'm going to do a bunch of stuff, but not everything. So you're not going to see everything, but you see a lot. And you can join us for at least for 12 hours, and I can answer your questions. This is another way of getting cheap coaching for me. And I'm never doing this again, ever. If you do the full 4 days, here's what I'm going to do. I'm not supposed to say this, but I'm going to say this. We're going to launch The Unchained Man tomorrow. My new book, my new version of my best book I've ever written tomorrow. Okay? For about 4 or 5 days, we're running a promotion if you buy the book, blah, 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 blah. Okay? Book, ebook, paperback, it's all ready. So finally it's been ready. I've been waiting forever. What I'm going to do, I'm going to attach doing one-on-one coaching as an option to that promotion for the book, to tie it into the book, because I think it's important. And 90%, I'm not going to be doing any more one-on-one coaching starting on the end of this year. December 31st is probably the last time I'm ever going to offer one-on-one coaching. It takes me away from scaling my companies. I can't do it. I'm 90% on that. So what I will do is, if you sign up for the full 4 days, you can take the $2,997 or whatever it is, and you can apply it to my one-on-one coaching as a credit, the entire amount you spent on the immersion program. So you get another $2,000. That gives you the 5 package. You can go to the website and look at all my coaching options. I don't want to go through that right now. But that's another way of at least giving you a cheap way to get my one-on-one coaching before I stop doing it in a month and a half, forever, probably. I'm definitely not doing this immersion thing ever again. The coaching, I'm 90% there. I haven't made that decision. So you're able to do that. You don't do it now. You can keep the credit and use it in the next week or two. We'll discuss that more once you sign up. But I'm doing that in case you want to do one-on-one coaching in addition to this, just to make this a little easier for you. That's it. Tonight at midnight. I will not do this again. www.caleb.top/shadow. I will never do this again. This is a one-time deal. I'm not doing this again. Definitely not doing this again. Not doing it again. Yeah, not doing it again. So www.caleb.top/shadow. If you want to do this, your deadline is tonight at midnight EST, which as I speak right now live is about 10 hours from now. And I've given you plenty of warning on this. I've been talking about this for months. So I don't want to hear it tomorrow. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I've been talking about this for months, dude. I don't know what else I can tell you. Cool? Cool. All right. Let's get to your questions. Let me adjust this screen here so I can be bigger. There we go. Okay. You guys are asking some very good questions. This is really good. Let's see. Where are we? Let me take a drink of water first. Hang on. I got a tear in my eye when I saw Trump's Madison Square rally. The tear was because I'm behind schedule on getting my second residency. I have one. Oh, I have done. The second should be around 2024, now 2025. Hey, that is the correct response. I'm shocked to say this. That is the correct emotional response. The correct emotional response from the election in the United States and the riots going on in the UK and the bullshit going on in Canada and everywhere else in the Western world is, oh my God, I got to get out of here. I got to get the fuck out of here fast. Here's the analogy I've used. I've used this many times and I'm right. You live in a small city. This is a hypothetical. You live in a small city or a big town, okay? There's two people running for mayor who's going to run your city where you live. The first person running for mayor has tortured and murdered 30 children. Tortured and murdered 30 kids. It's not an allegation. He was actually found convicted of it and he admitted it. And by some weird quirk of the law, he's not in prison anymore. And he's running for mayor. The second person running for mayor has tortured and murdered 20 children. And it's not alleged. He actually did it. And those are your only two options. You have no other options. You got to vote for one for mayor. Which one do you vote for? Now, if you're insane like an American, your answer is, well, obviously I need to vote for the person who only, in quotes, tortured and murdered 20 kids. Because if I voted for someone who tortured and murdered 30 kids, that would be bad. That's what you say if you're insane. And that's the American logic. I have this person who's going to destroy my country. I have another person to destroy my country. I like one person better than the other, so I better vote for the person I like who will destroy my country because I don't want to vote for the person I don't like. That would suck. It's insane. You're completely insane. Americans have lost their fucking minds. They did a long time ago. If you are rational and sane and able of critical thought and you're an adult, you have a functioning brain, the answer to that question is, I'm not voting for either one of these people. And clearly, I live in a town that's gone insane. I need to get the fuck out of here and make plans to leave as soon as I can. That's the correct answer. Not, well, I have to vote for the person who only tortured and murdered 20 kids. On that topic, Donald Trump increased Barack Obama's drone strikes by over 300%. Look it up. I don't vote for murderers. It's one of the reasons I don't vote. I'm not voting for Biden or Kamala or Trump or Obama or Romney. Or John Kerry or George W. Bush or John McCain, all the people you guys have been voting for years. And I wonder why your country's collapsing. Wonder why. What do you think of being a polyglot? I think it's a waste of time. Is it worth investing time and effort to learning multiple languages? It absolutely is not. No, it's a waste of your time. Wouldn't knowing many languages be a huge asset, especially in your life? Nope, it would not. Absolutely not. You don't want to be a polyglot. You want to be really amazing at one thing. You want to be the opposite of it. If you want to be successful and happy in life, be fucking amazing at one thing. I'm successful because I was amazing at one thing and then later two things. But I'm 50. I'm in my 50s. I'm older than most of you. No. Number one. Number two, AI will fix this problem. Billy and I are buying a package. It's called Worldly. We're going in on this together probably. You plug it into your Zoom. You can speak any language. And the person on the other side wears headphones and they hear their language. And they speak back to you in their language and you hear your language. So I'm gonna be able to do one-on-one coaching and seminars and private seminars with anyone in the world speaking any language. And they can understand me and I can understand them. That's technology that works now. United Nations use it. Same system we're using. And it's not that expensive. It's a little spendy, but not that bad. You're going to have that in your phone pretty soon. You almost do. There's a version of ChatGPT that already does this audibly. So you put an earpiece in your ear. Learning languages is a waste of your time, unless you really want to do it. I really would like to learn Spanish, but by the time I learn Spanish, there'll be an AI thing, but it will help. But I spend half my life in Paraguay. But that's one language, dude, not a whole bunch. I talked to my niche and found a clear recruiting issue. How do I figure out if it's worth the squeeze? If you hear from 5 different people in your niche reporting the same problem, it's worth the squeeze. Do it. Also, I need to niche my solution. Do I need to niche my solution if I niche my market? No, you do not. If you're niched the market, the solution does not need to be niched. It can be, but that's optional. That'd be great if you can, but you don't need to. If your market is very, one or the other has to be niched. If your market is very niched, you can offer a standard service, but only to that niche, customized for that niche. For example, help recruit machinists instead of staff in general. Yes, that's perfectly right. Now, machinist is not a niche. I hope that's not what you're thinking. That's not a niche. It's way too broad. Where would you rank sleep in terms of importance to your success? How important of a factor is it? I've said this many times. How long did it take for you to perfect your sleep? How important sleep is the number one most important physical only factor to your happiness, energy, success, and longevity in life. Number one. Now, I didn't say it's the only one. What about diet and exercise? Yes. Diet and exercise comes in at 2 and 3. Yes. Diet is number 2. Diet's number 2. And it's a close number 2, but it's not number 2. It's number 1. Sleep is number 1. Sleep helps you die. I've been fasting all day. I'm hungry. I want a burrito right now. I can hear a little voice in my head. Hey, man, can I have a burrito? No, you can't. You're overweight. Shut up. I promise you. And it's 11 p.m. my time. I've been fasting all day. And at nights when you get really hungry, you start thinking about food. If I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, I would have broke. I would have already eaten some stuff in my kitchen. But I'm able to do this because I got 8.5 hours sleep last night. Just like I do every night with rare exception. How long did it take you to perfect your sleep? Not long when you wear an Oura ring, because that tells you exactly what's going on. Not long. Plus, I did enough research. It's not that hard. So you'll see this. You guys have watched me in the immersion program. When I go to bed, you'll see me do this. I have nose tape over my nose, like Alex Hormozy wears all day. I wear those at night when I go to sleep to open up your sinuses. I have mouth tape, and I have the best brand you can buy. I slap it over my mouth so you don't go in the middle of the night, and you don't drool on yourself in the middle of the night, which wakes you up. So I tape my mouth shut. I put in earplugs. I've shown on my videos on this channel, this YouTube channel, my Paraguay and some other videos where I block out all light on one wall, the whole wall. I put black stuff over the windows so it's jet black even in the middle of the day when it's sunny. I keep the temperature in the room very, very cold. The colder, the better. Cold, 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 cold helps you sleep. Moderately room temperature is not that great, and warm is very bad. I have one of my air purifiers blowing right on my face. So I'm breathing perfect air all night. I do everything. I'm a maniac about this. Well, that seems like a lot of trouble. Well, then don't do it and be less successful, less happy. That's fine. For the immersion program, would we be talking to you through voice or text messages? Text messages. We're going to use Vimeo. We're going to use Vimeo, just so you guys know that's the app we're going to use. So it's not text. It's a chat like in Zoom. It's a chat. It'll be a live chat with everyone else in the immersion. Just ask me questions every one. Are you a morning lark or a night owl? I used to be a night owl. Now I'm just kind of all day because my energy is high all day, but maybe a little bit of a night owl. Do you think forward shifting your daily routine is conducive to success, considering how many achievers are early risers? They've done some data on this. A lot of achievers aren't early risers. Like Jeff Bezos fucking sleeps in and he farts around for several hours and goes in at 11. He's the richest man in the world, or up there, right? So, and he's not the only person. Shifting your daily routine conducive. I don't know what you mean by that question. I don't know what you mean by shifting your routine. I don't know what you mean by that. I have a daily routine. I have a morning routine, a night routine. I have all those routines. Yeah. Finished my first draft of my ebook. Where do you recommend I get it edited and proofread? Would you suggest Upwork? Yes, Upwork. Go. Would you also suggest starting blogs as the main form of marketing before releasing the ebook, perhaps a few weeks before release? Sure. That's one way to do it. Video. Here's the rule. In terms of free content to get you out there, social media content, the best type of content is, unfortunately, video. You get more clicks on video than anything else. Second best is audio. Third best is blogs. But blogs still work. You've got Justin Welsh. He makes $1 million a year, more than $1 million, just blogging. That's all he does. So blogs can work, especially if your niche is more academic and likes to read. You guys like to read. That's why I started doing my blogs again. alphamail20.com/blog and calebjones.com/blog. I have two. I have articles every week on both. So you can, sure. Is it worth getting $23,000 in student debt to make cash flow as a robotics engineer on the side? No. While working on a business? No. Currently broke with not much skills. No. Stop going to college. If you're in college, drop out right now. And I'm not kidding. Do your own. It's your life. You make your own decisions. College is a fucking waste. No, getting a college degree will delay the time you'll be successful in your business. You'll be free. No. Going to college makes you think like an employee. You're thinking like an employee. Well, I need to get a good job because I can't, because I don't have any money. No. Fucking do Uber driving or something like that. And start your own business. You speak very fluently and you always know how to answer swiftly and succinctly. How does one become such a good speaker? How did you get this good? It's a combination of, I do have some inborn personality traits that help this. Number one. Number two, from my other channel, I'm a very confident and outcome independent. Both those things. When you're outcome independent, you don't worry about what you say because you're an outcome dependent. You're worried about making a mistake, so you hesitate. That's how most people are because they're worried they're going to make a mistake and they're worried people are going to think they're dumb. I'm outcome independent. I don't care what you think. So if I say something stupid, and sometimes I do, I don't care. So I just say it. And I'm confident. And I've done the research. And so that's one reason. Another reason is I did professional speaking for a while, public speaking. So that helps. Another reason is I spent fucking 15 years on the internet debating the topic of long-term monogamy with thousands of people who said long-term monogamy works as long as you find the right person. No, it doesn't. And I debated and debated and debate. When you debate topics a lot, you get good at this stuff. On top of that, for about 30 years, I don't really do this anymore. But for many years, I debated right-wingers and left-wingers because I'm a minarchist libertarian. So when you debate a lot, you get good at this stuff. So those are all the reasons. How important how important is speaking well and being eloquent in the woman aspect of Alpha Male 2.0? I do not answer women questions on this channel. Why is discipline and effort not that common in this modern society? You already know the answer. And even with these who put in the effort, often toward the wrong things begin with. Social media, smartphones. That's it. Read Jonathan Haidt. Read his books. This all started in 2012 with kids and young people and a lot of adults. 2012. What happened in 2012? That's when it had been 5 years since we had smartphones and smartphones became ubiquitous and social media. And that's why. It's made people lazy. And it's made people make excuses. Talk about this on the channel. You go on Instagram and you think every guy looks like Andrew Tate and Dan Bilzerian. So what chance do you have? No. A fraction of a fraction of a fraction of 1% look like that. Most guys look like dumpy pieces of shit. Most men are dumpy pieces of shit. They're called beta males. Let's see. Do you have to provide okay, you're asking another woman question. I don't answer those. What routine do you follow when writing? Like when you were writing The Unchained Man. What medium do you use? Again, I keep things very simple. What's my medium? Microsoft Word. Word 2019 is what I'm using now. But I wrote The Unchained Man with Word 2003, even though I wrote it in 2012. It was like a 10-year-old version of Word. Don't care. It's fine. It doesn't matter. What procedure do I follow? Writing is one of my natural talents. So when I was a kid and they asked me, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said, I want to be a writer. I want to make money actually selling my books and actually make a living selling books. And now I do. So I don't actually have I guess I do have a process, don't I? To me, it's all kind of effortless. And I've been writing for 20 years. So I sit down. I have a whole mini course on, go to store.calebjones.com. Right. There's a mini course on how to write a book. I have a whole course on how to write a book. It's very cheap. It's like $150. You can go buy it. I write the first draft of a book. I sit down, I write. And I have X's where I left off, a line of X's, and I just write past that line. I write. And then when I come back, I proofread the last X part. So the next day I come back, I proofread what I wrote. Not proofread. I rewrite or reread what I wrote the day before, and then I keep writing again. And I do all the way to the end of the book. And then I go back and tweak. And I have about 3 or 4 drafts before I publish. So in a nutshell, that's my process. When doing a 9-to-5 is pain whilst working. Doing a 9-to-5 is a pain whilst working. Why do you say whilst? Are you from the Middle Ages? Whilst working on businesses is a commission-only sales job the best option to get money fast will work out a business. If you're really good at sales, yes. Otherwise, no. You want a normal salary job. Would crypto go up if Trump wins? No. Crypto will go up if Kamala wins. Because again, all the Trump idiots, if Kamala wins, will say, oh my God, we're all going to die now. We're all fucked. You're fucked with Trump too, idiots. But that's what they'll think. So people will flood to crypto. So crypto will spike if Kamala wins, probably. And it'll probably pop back down. Bitcoin was finally up to 72K a few weeks ago, right? I prefer blogs over video as I prefer writing. Video is definitely on the agenda. Okay, fine. Do it. Whatever. Now, again, it's not about what you prefer. It's what your niche prefers, Dwayne. So it's not about what you prefer. We don't care what you prefer. What does your niche prefer? Does your niche like video or do they like reading shit? You know the answer. You got to do that. They prefer video. I'm sorry, you have to do video. You can write if you want, but then you're misaligned. It's not about what you want. You said the best governments are benevolent oligarchies like the UAE. That is correct. While you're correct at the beginning, these benevolent governments don't stay benevolent because of greed. No government structure lasts forever. They all eventually collapse, and you have to make a new country. That's true of all forms of government. Socialism, communism, capitalism, libertarianism, oligarchy. Eventually, governments fuck up. Right. It's part of the human condition. Nothing you can do about that. That's why you have a five flags or at least an international-based lifestyle where wherever you live, if things start going south, you just go, boop, and you pop over to your backup plan and you don't have to worry about it. I don't rely on Dubai. I rely on about 5 different countries. So now I'm covered. Doesn't matter what happens to Dubai or America or Canada or whatever country you're thinking of. But I am correct. The least bad governments in the world right now are benevolent oligarchies. Singapore, Dubai, UAE. What's starting to happen in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, not the country of Saudi Arabia, but Riyadh, that zone was starting to happen there. Yeah, those are the least bad countries. Correct. What Hong Kong used to be prior to 2019. Water here. All right. I'm going to wrap this up a little early tonight because of daylight savings. I have to stay up an hour later to do these lives. Not stay up, but they happen an hour later for me. Because in Dubai, we don't have fucking daylight savings. Daylight savings is fucking stupid. You did that for farmers back in the early 1900s. Are you farmers? What the fuck are you doing? Well, I don't like coming home when it's dark. Then don't have a job. Have your own business, and you can come and go as you wish. Daylight savings is so fucking dumb. What's hilarious is that my wife is in Phoenix, Arizona right now, and they don't have daylight savings either. So the entire United States changes around us, but we don't change. Me in Dubai and her in Phoenix. It's hilarious. What would you recommend for those who can't currently afford 90-day business builder? Store.calebjones.com. Buy the Alpha 2.0 business course. What meme coins would you say is the best? I don't know. I don't follow altcoins very strongly. I'm a Bitcoin maximalist, sort of. What do you do to stay grounded during uncertainty or when things don't go as expected? Oh, that's easy. When you're going through rough shit, I went through some rough shit last year. And I didn't do all these things. So I learned 8.5 hours of sleep a night. Meditate every day, even if you think you, quote, don't have time. Exercise hard. Cardio where you're sweating. You're not lifting weights. If you're already lifting weights, keep lifting weights. But if you're just trying to like maintain your sanity as shit goes south, get your ass to the gym, go on the treadmill or the elliptical or a bike, whatever you want to do. Don't go for a walk. This doesn't count. Go for walks are good. If you're trying to offset like depression or feeling horrible, you go hit the gym, hit a cardio machine for at least 30 minutes. 45 is better. 30 is okay. But where you're gushing sweat. You guys know Scott Galloway, those of you who watch his videos? He's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and he has extreme depression. See, it's not an excuse. And he has this whole system for when he, quote, goes dark. And that's what he says. Get a lot of sleep, work out, sweat a lot. And then he says he's right. Whoever loves you, if that's a significant other, if it's a girlfriend or a boyfriend, if you're a woman, or a husband or spouse, lean into that person. Go cuddle with that person on the bed. You don't have to have sex. You don't want to. You can if you want. But cuddle, touch, and express your I love you. You're wonderful. Get into that. Well, I'm single, Caleb. Okay, then dogs, cats, friends, family. You don't want to cuddle with your mom, but you get my point. You can hug your mom. You lean into people who love you and who you love. You do all those things. What would you recommend staying with parents to save? Would you recommend staying with parents to save on bills and work on business online, or to go to work 9 to 5 to earn money or live alone and work on the business online? That's a tricky one. Either one can work. Staying with parents a little longer where you build your business is acceptable. Although I hate the concept you're staying with your parents, but that would be okay. That'd be all right. If you could spend 60, 70, 80 hours a week building your business, but you have to stay with mom and dad a little longer, that's a little better than you moving out of mom and dad, but now you got to work at a job for 40 hours a week, plus commuting time. You only spend 20 hours a week in your business. So I'd probably stay, but not forever. You put a date on the calendar, that's when you leave. Is the U.S. the next Japan? No, the U.S. is the next Russia. Hey, Caleb, do you find when it comes to productivity, have you found it hard to balance personal freedom and having commitments? Yes. Yes. You got to listen to my other channel. How can you strike this balance? Don't make commitments. I'm non-monogamous, for example. That's one of the biggest commitments people make. I don't make the commitment. It's a stupid commitment to make long term. It's more of a topic for another channel. You don't make commitments. In your personal life, you don't make them. You say, this is what I'll do, this is what I won't do. If you don't like it, get out of here. Go date somebody else. Topic for another channel. What's the upshot of going from nerd to badass like you? The upshot, lots of money, lots of women, great life. I dated a woman back when I was a beta male nerd in my early 20s. I may have still been a virgin when I was dating her because we never had sex because I was a pussy. And she said something very interesting. So remember this is the early 90s. She was older than me. She was 6, 7, 8 years older than me. And she said, hey, here's the deal. Right now you're a nerd. And that kind of sucks for you, Caleb, because you're a nerd. She goes, but the hottest women marry nerds once they mature. Nerds, once they mature, are the best men. Jocks are fun when you're in your 20s. This is a whole, alpha fucks, beta bucks thing. Jocks are fun for women for a while, but the women, when they settle down and want to be with someone, it's nerds who have matured. Now, we live in an era now where nerds have never matured. In my era, back in the 80s, nerds would eventually mature and become men. Today, we live in a world where men stay nerds forever. They're still playing with Star Wars toys in their 40s, right? Yeah. All right. 1 or 2 more questions. I'm going to go. Could you do both at the same time? Both what? I don't know what you're talking about. You can't do this on these chats where you refer to a prior question. I don't know who you are. I don't keep track of your questions. Would you suggest using their laptop webcam for videos, or is there a good platform to upload videos? Could I also use AI tools? I don't know what you're referring to. You just record videos with your phone. That's what I'm doing. Record with your phone, dude. And is there a good platform to upload videos? Yeah, it's called YouTube. You might have heard of it. There's a platform called YouTube, and it's for videos. You upload your videos there, and people can watch them. You should look into it. So basically, I've been wasting my time learning 6 languages all these years. Got it. In my opinion, yes. Unless it's a hobby for you and you don't care. You said you wanted to learn 6 languages, I think, because you wanted to benefit and benefit financially or no. If you love languages like J.R.R. Tolkien did, you like learning language for fun, you don't make then go ahead. If you want to do it to improve your life, no. By focusing on only one language, do you mean any or English specifically? I didn't say focus on one language, did I? If you want to learn one more language because you live in that country, I live in Paraguay half the year. So it makes sense that I speak at least shitty Spanish, right? It just makes sense. Now, what I learned, if I lived in Dubai 12 months a year forever, would I bother learning Spanish? No, why? It'd be stupid, right? So if you have a logistical reason to learn another language, a lot of Five Flags guys and passport bros, they date in Eastern Europe. I don't know why they do that. Yes, they're hot, but do you want to date a Russian? So they date, so they learn Russian so they can date easier in Eastern Europe. Okay. That means you have a logistical reason for wanting to learn the language. And if you don't speak English, obviously you should learn, but you all speak English. So that doesn't matter to you. All right. Any videos on time management? Dozens of them. This channel, look through time management. Go to my podcast, calebjones.com/podcast. And I have tons of podcasts and videos on time management. Tons. I also have a mini course. You want to spend a little money? Store.calebjones.com. Go to a mini course there. There's a mini course for time management for the Alpha Male 2.0. You can do that too. All right. In short, is English the only language that matters? I never said that. Depends on you and depends on your lifestyle. If you live in China, that's not all that matters, right? So it depends. All right. I'm going to go. One thing before I go is that I have been promising all of you a video where I go through all the statistics of why America is collapsing. I'm finally going to do that. That'll happen in late. It's not on the YouTube schedule yet, but it will be. You'll see it on my YouTube channel. It'll happen late November, early December. I'm writing another book. And so I have a whole chapter on those statistics of why the West is collapsing. So I'm just using that chapter. So I have an excuse to do this video now, where I'm going to go through over 100 statistics in 23 different areas that are completely unrelated as to why America will collapse in your lifetime, even if you make Donald Trump president for life. Because these are things that no politician can fix. It's mathematically and logistically impossible to fix. I'm going to go through the entire video. You're going to shit your pants. You guys will wait. I've been promising that for years. I wanted to do it 2 or 3 years ago. I've been a little busy. So I'm finally getting around to do that on this channel podcast. And it's going to be one of these things where I'm not even going to answer questions. I'm just going to start right in and start quoting stats. I'll have it on slides and everything. Stats. Not just America's $35 trillion of debt. Yeah, that too. But that's the obvious ones. There's 80 stats you had no idea. And you can verify them in 10 seconds using any AI search tool or Google and find out if I'm right or not. Because I didn't make these up. Did a lot of research on this. So that's coming in the next few weeks. I'm also going to do a nerd live stream, probably in early December, because you guys asked, where we could just sit and talk about nerd shit, Star Wars and Alien and Lord of the Rings and Dungeons and Dragons. And you guys, enough of you asked, I'm going to do that. Just kind of a special like Christmas event or something. So that's coming too. I have another very important live stream doing on my other channel, but I can't talk about it here. So go to the other channel. I'll talk about that. I'm doing in about 2 weeks. It's on the schedule over there. Cool. Okay. Let's see. I meant YouTube videos. What I was asking is if there's a specific camera to use. No, use your phone. Or just use my phone. Use your phone. Keep it simple. Use your phone. I do OnlyFans as a stepping stone and built my online business. Life gone hard, but can't play the good girl. Okay. Sounds great. All right, guys. Let you guys go. Also, for those of you interested in Alpha Male 2.0 stuff, I'll see you Wednesday. And again, this is the last day you can sign up for my immersion thing. www.caleb.top/shadow. If you want to join us this weekend, we're going to have a lot of fun. I have a lot of cool shit planned for you guys. And it's one of those things where you can ask me questions that I can't discuss publicly. I'm going to show you all kinds of shit I could never discuss publicly, ever. You can ask me questions because it's a private live stream. It's just us. I can tell you everything, and I'm going to tell you all kinds of shit that I've never told anybody. And you can ask me these questions, and I'll tell you. Or I can't talk about this publicly. Cool. All right, man. www.caleb.top/shadow. You've got about 9 hours left, and you can't do this, and I will never do this again, ever. Cool. All right. See ya.